Hi there and welcome to this lesson in French filtered disco house. Right, I've done a lesson previously which was filtered disco, but I added bass lines on top of that and other little things, which was more traditional house, sort of disco house. Now, this tutorial, this is more focused on the French side of things, which is really using the compressor to sidechain the samples and heavy kicks and real far out sort of weird sort of loops that normally don't sound right, but they seem to fit when you do it in this way. So hopefully you should have downloaded the sample pack and you will have the track by Alton McLean and Destiny called It Must Be Love amongst that file. So that track is this. So you've got that. So once you've installed that, get that up and running and installed, and then just mute it for the time being. And then get the kicks out of the pack, which are these ones. And then get your hi-hats. And then put an EQ8 onto the hi-hats, which is this drum loop here. Stick an EQ8 on it and select number 1 and take the low pass filter and pull it right down so that you take away the kick. Now, I've just used this beat just as a random beat. You can use any sort of percussion hi-hat tops beat from anything that you want to use. I've just used this because it just seemed to fit perfectly with this. I've set the tempo to 125, so you can set it at 120, 125, whatever you want to do. Now then, what we've done now is once you've got the beat in, and it sounds like that, what we're going to do next is we're going to find a loop amongst this record. Now, normally when we loop disco records, we tend to take the main hook, as I've already expressed in other tutorials. But with this, we're going to take a real short part of the vocal. Now, you can basically, there's a way of doing this, is just to get your looper, as I've also explained in previous tutorials, and just find a certain loop that you think sounds a bit odd. See, and rather than taking the straightforward, 4 bars of something, find a vocal that is kind of half spoken, so it's half of a phrase, it's not the full word. So what I've done for this tutorial is I've gone through the track. Like this before. Something's glowing from my eyes, and I never felt alive, and I never felt like this before. And I'm sure. And I've got to this bit here, this part of the track. I'm sure. And what I've done is I've zoomed in and I've taken this part. Just here, look. There. Just that tiny bit. But obviously I'm going to time that up. It's a very simple little loop. And that's all I've took. And I'm going to take that now, so I'm going to select that selection there. And I'm going to zoom in a bit. I'm going to take all this bit here. I'm going to break it away by clicking my left mouse button, dragging it out and then drag it back in. Change the colour of it and then cut it. I'm going to take that away. And then I'm going to mute the disco record. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste it onto my line here. Then double click, open it up, and stretch it out and get it into time. So that your loop there, and we find the loop, so it's out of time. So what we need to do is zoom in, right click there, select set 1 here, and then double click on that, pull that in, double click there, pull that in, double click there, pull that in, and double click on there, pull that in, but pull this arrow in so you're on the line, so you've got a tight loop. We have a problem there because that's all of it. That's it. Look. So there's your loop. I've got it in, and how weird does that sound? It's like a phrase of a vocal, but you can just tell it's just got that kind of French house style to it already. It's got that kind of weird roughness to it, and then put it on with your beats. But what we're going to do is we're going to sidechain it. But in order for us to sidechain it, we're going to duplicate the kick channel. So I'm going to name this channel kick, and then I'm going to duplicate this channel by right-clicking, press duplicate. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to mute the second one, and I'm going to rename that sidechain mute. Okay, like so. And that will basically, we will be able to keep the sidechain effect on without the kick playing. So where there's parts of the track when it's just broke down to the loop and the percussion, the sidechain will still happen. So what we're going to do then is go to our loop, which we've just created, and then we're going to go and put a compressor on it, like that. And then we're going to open it up there, and then you'll get this section here where it says sidechain. Then you're going to press sidechain and audio from sidechain mute. And then you're going to pull your threshold down to where you think, usually 3/4 of the way down, and then press play. And then when you mute the kick, it will still sidechain. You could put a filter on it and mess about with that. Okay, and there you go. That is a little bit of what we've done. We could also find plenty of other little loops in this track which could be really useful. So I'm going to go ahead and have a little look around now. And I tend to always, like I say, tend to find vocal snippets that you wouldn't normally use. So you try and find a loop that's with like the second word within a verse. So like that. And then go across with your loop bar. And then halfway through again. It's weird, you know, just weird little loops. So, you know, and there's that similar loop again, that's one we've used, which is the second, on the second part of the track. So they've got, you could use that and filter that. So if you were to test it out, get a kick, throw that into your loop. Let's get it on time. So, and let's have a look at that. So if I pull that down. It's not quite right, but if you double break it up and then time it up and see what we get. It's a weird one. So you maybe put there. Like so. It's the same one again. So but it's kind of got a different bit of the way it's sung is quite different. We could try that. What I'm going to do, I'm just giving you an example there of, you know, of a loops you could use. So try to take the second word of a verse or a chorus. So it's not, you're not taking the whole verse, so it doesn't, and then loop it around the beat and just see what you come up with. So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to delete that track because I don't need it anymore, and go back to what I've done originally. And then all we're going to do is create a track out of that. So let's just get rid of that sidechain mute and change the colour of that sidechain mute so we know that it is what it is. Okay, and I'll consolidate that and just rename that sidechain mute. It doesn't have to be, but it just helps with the process when you're arranging. Okay. Right, so kick, sidechain mutes, which is the muted kick, and the loop, and your tops. Okay, right, I'm going to arrange this in a very short way, just to give you an idea of how we do it, and then we can take it from there. So go over to the next video, and we will begin the arrangement. Okay, goodbye.